Nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Rami. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Querio. We're building data intelligence at any technical level. So, getting useful insights from data is really expensive and slow for most companies. On one end, you have business people that understand the operation of the business but lack the data skills to query data themselves. And on the other hand, you have data people that have all the technical skills that they need but lack the business context. And as it turns out, most of the time spent on getting insights is to solve this telephone issue and bridge that gap between the two teams. A great example of this is one of our first customers, Enver, who was CTO of a B2B SaaS called GrowDash, and they were spending $150K on their data solutions. They had $60K for Looker, which came bundled, with Google BigQuery. Everyone on the team was waiting for Enver to get any sort of insights. He was the only one that could use the tool, and he was about to hire 2 data analysts to unblock his team. And now he's paying us $15,000 a year to fix it, and let's see how. Instead of Enver being the only one who could use the product, his CEO, Sean, can now log into Querio, ask a question like, what are sales for July? He knows the business, so he knows the logic for the answer was correct. Now, perhaps Sean wants to go in and make a chart to actually track sales month over month. He can go in here. Instead of looking for the data in the database, he can just prompt what he wants into X and Y. And just like that, Sean made his first chart. He can now track sales month over month. We can bring back Enver, who wants to do something a little more technical and actually forecast sales. He can use Querio more of a co-pilot to help him write Python in a Jupyter notebook, produce a visual that makes sense, and now they can also track if they're hitting their forecasted sales for the rest of the year. Because of this, GrowDash was able to delay 2 data hires, replace Looker, and that saved them $150,000 a year. Like Looker, other products in the market are typically too technical or only for reporting. We've had customers leave other competitors like Metabase and Kibana for us, despite us not having feature parity for this exact reason. We're starting off by selling to CTOs at SaaS logistics and e-commerce scale-ups. Now, any company that needs the internet to run is going to need a data solution, but we are focusing in on this initial cohort. Since selling in February, we've signed about 80,000 in recurring revenue through contracts, half of which have converted from their pilot to the paid periods, and we're growing an average of 20% month over month. For the team, it's myself, Rami. I spent 5 years at Amazon in a mix of engineering roles and robotics, and then also a product for Alexa. My co-founder also comes from a background of both technical and business roles, except he worked for startups where he was a 2x exited operator. And that's all. Thank you guys again. And we're Querio, and we're building data intelligence for any technical level.
All right. Thanks, Rami. Okay, Sandy, let's start with you. Question for Rami.
Thanks, Rami. I enjoyed the pitch. As someone who ran a couple of finance teams in my prior life and spent a lot of money on Looker.
Sorry.
Your pitch is music to my ears. I guess, so you're targeting kind of earlier stage startups, scale-ups. My question would be, Looker is pretty robust. Do you expect that your product kind of taps out as companies get to a certain scale, or can you really grow with these companies as they get very large and complicated?
All right, great. And let's take one from our syndicate. Dan's asking, how do you prevent potential hallucinations of data/answers? And does the user have the ability to audit the answer in some way? 2 minutes for that, Rami.
Thank you. All right, so starting with you, Sandy, I think data needs aren't a one-size-fits-all. I think for the foreseeable future, if you're looking for a pure SQL querying tool that has good dashboarding and has a basic data model, I think Looker is going to fit that need for a lot of companies. Now, there's a ton of other teams that like the fact that we have, Python included, where they can pull the same data sets and actually do cloud Python in the same space. That's kind of a big differentiator that I think no matter how big a company gets, Looker won't fulfill that need. And I think it's going to be similar features to that, where not every data team has the same full needs for what they want as a data strategy and how much access they want to give the rest of the company. So both the fact that we focus a lot on giving non-technical people access, plus the fact that we give data teams a Python environment, I think will continue to differentiate us from competitors like Looker, who've had a long time to do Python but haven't. And on the second part for the hallucinations, that's a great question, actually, and about the auditing. So we have this big statement where it's not trust, it's transparency. You talk to the data team, it's like, I don't trust this AI to purely do a full query by itself. I want to make sure. So everything that's ever written, if you're using it in that co-pilot or autopilot mode, you can audit and see everything that's being written. The data team can also audit it for major reports. And the way that we stop hallucinations is we built our own data model from scratch. You could think about it as like a different variation of dbt or lookml, one that's really optimized to giving AIs all the context they need to write correct queries without overstressing the context window and not giving too much that's unnecessary. And thank you both for the questions.